perfect. So, what was life like before you guys joined Legacy Farmer?
I would say life was pretty good. I mean, we had a business. We have a great family. Chad and I have a good relationship. And a lot of stuff was good, but we felt like we were at a place where we're like, okay, now what? Like, how do we get to the next step, and what do we need to do to even get there? We don't have crop ground. We would love to. Chad's dream has always been to farm. We both grew up on farms. And so for us, it was kind of like, what do we do now? We were kind of at a holding point, I guess. Yeah. Do you want me to go over the separate areas? Will that help? Or
You kind of touched on it, but
okay.
So all around you just felt stagnant. Like you just felt like it wasn't terrible, but you weren't moving forward.
Yeah, like I felt like we had an abnormal life in the sense that we have pushed ourselves and we grew up, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, we didn't know where to go from here, and we didn't know like what we needed to do to move forward in business. I think business was kind of our main area that we didn't know what to do in. Yeah.
I feel like Jordan and I can really relate to that, because it's not like it was lack of motivation. It wasn't like, it was strictly just like we didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to do differently.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would say the same for us. It was like we didn't know how to get to that next step, and so yeah, that's where we were at.
Good. All right. So what has changed for you since you've entered the world of Legacy Farmer?
I think we realized a lot of ways that we needed to work on our being personally, like who we were. Just a lot of things that we all push down. Like we're not taught to look at who we are or what we think or how we go about doing things, or what lies from our past or even from our present that we keep telling ourselves that hold us back. And then just to have that, one, we have a specific plan for how to go about going through those things, and then the accountability of knowing that there are other people out there doing that with us. That's encouraging, and it also makes me like, okay, I have to get this done because other people are doing this, and they're going to know if I didn't do it, and I don't want to be the one that didn't do it. And also, we wanted to grow, we wanted to build, and so yeah, I would say for body, we kind of just, I don't know, we take care of ourselves, but it was still like, okay, now what? Like, how can I get more energy, or how can I add something to my life that's going to just help me function a little better? And then just confidence for ourselves too, recognizing that we weren't depressed per se, but recognizing, for me in particular, recognizing like I have value in this farm business, and I've kind of always felt like, oh, the farm wife is just the farm wife, like she's not that important because she's not the one that gets the paycheck. And recognizing like, no, without us it doesn't work, and it doesn't function very well. The house doesn't function well, and there's very little motivation too for our husbands. Like that's part of what motivates them, is to take care of the family. And then just to be intentional in our relationships. And even with the stacking process, there's so much more communication between Chad and I, that my husband and I talk about the things that we stack, and we talk about the revelations. And a lot of times we get stuck in a stack. We're like, I don't know how to answer this question. So we'll call up the other one and be like, okay, what do I need to do? Like, what are you thinking? And for them, of course, it's clear as day, because the one that's outside of the process a lot of times can see what, when you're right in that process, you can't see. And it's something we actually just talked about it today. Like, we look forward to teaching our boys to do this, because Chad has a very anxious personality, and I know that our boys have some of that too. And I think sometimes with being driven, that comes, and we look forward to teaching them how to process the thoughts that come in a day. Yeah, and business-wise, it's just given us ideas that we didn't necessarily have, or they were kind of there, but we never really like, oh yeah, let's try this. Let's work on taking that a step forward, or it's okay for us to be successful and to want to grow, and that our business is actually a blessing to other people if we do it well, that we're not so focused on the people that are our competition, if that's the right word,
Yeah.
but more focused on the customer who's not receiving the service that they should be, and that we can offer that service just by being honest and doing a good job in what we do.
What has it done for you to read other people's stacks that are shared?
I would say twofold. One, it's encouraging to realize I'm not the only one out there. And I guess that's probably one of the big things too that it's done for us, is just to realize we're not the only ones that go through this problem, even though we don't necessarily know people right in our neighborhood that are thinking this way or functioning this way or want this out of life, but to realize there are other people that function that way. And even to sometimes read things that you're like, oh yeah, those are the words I wanted for my situation, I just couldn't come up with them, like you said them for me, and that helps. And then to realize, like, we've all been through things that sometimes someone else needs encouragement from, and to feel like those struggles have had purpose, not just for me, but also purpose to help someone else that's going through the same thing.
I think there's so much power in just having a community of people who just understand each other. You know,
Yeah,
who are there to uplift each other.
Yeah. And it's funny, like none of us have actually met face to face, or maybe some of you have, I haven't, but sometimes I feel like I know you guys better than I know people that I've lived by for the last 5 or 10 or 15 years, because we share the real stuff and we share what's really going on inside.
Yeah, and that's so rare today. You know, like social media, if you think of social media, it's just the front that people put on to post just the perfections of their life, and that's not reality. So it's it's a breath of fresh air to see a real person, you know.
It is. Oh yeah, it is. And even Chad and I had this conversation this morning, like even legacy farmer, like, you know, you put your description up of where you're at today, but that doesn't come with bank information or your struggles. So even as we start to share our stacks, you recognize, like, oh, it looked like so-and-so had the perfect life of what we wanted, and recognizing, like, oh, I guess there are struggles in that, and maybe they have the stuff, but it's not making them money. And recognizing that, yeah, even any kind of social media, it can be so deceiving so easily, and it's so easy to just see, the good things and not see the struggle that goes with it. So to see the real person behind it is really helpful.
I agree with that 100%. All right, are you ready for the next question?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so what are your favorite things about Legacy Farmer? So about the tools, the network, trainings. What are your favorite things about it?
I do like the stack, or the chat system, the workplace system. I like that it's not on Facebook. And I'm not very interactive on Facebook. I tend to do the scroll and see what everyone else is doing, and then I waste time and it doesn't benefit me. And so recognizing that this workplace is very focused, it's very positive, it's very encouraging, it's always time well spent when I go through it. I really like the trainings. There's so many times that we get to a point where we're stacking or talking about something, and I'm like, I don't know what to do next. And then you watch the next training, and it's like, oh, that's it. I just needed to watch another training. And some of it's so simple, but it's profound because we don't think about it. And until you think about it and own it and really think deeply about what do I think, or how do I view my life, or what am I doing, it doesn't change until you put action to it. And then, the community, just having other people to do it with, and other people that can encourage and keep you accountable. You don't feel like such a lone soldier in what you're doing.
Very good. I think in the training, so for example, like the training that you dissected who you are, like who am I? We tend to think so superficially, like I'm a wife, I'm a mom, just so superficial, and we look past like who we are to our core. So it really has you think really deeply, and it can be super emotional, but we have to do it as people in order to grow.
Mhm. Sometimes I feel like I should go back and redo them. Like as as I do this, then the second time around, I'll probably have even better and deeper insights into who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're good, and they do. It's yeah, you can do them on a superficial level, but that doesn't gain you anything unless you're willing to take the time to really think about it and dig deep.
Mm-hmm. All right, last question. What is one thing you would say to a woman looking into legacy farmer for herself, her husband, and her family?
This is probably the question I've thought about the most. I'm like, what's one thing? But I think my answer would be, if you want more than what you have right now, if you want to have all out of your life that God has for you, if you want to move past where you are at this point, whether it's really bad or maybe it's really good, if you want to grow, not just personally, but as a family in your relationship with your spouse and with your kids and in your business, then this is the place for you, because there are tools and there are assignments and there's accountability and there's camaraderie in it. It's a program that is pieced together so well that it just piece by piece addresses the different areas of life and helps you dig deeper into who you are and what you want, and to work together with your spouse to get to that point and to bring your family to that point too, so that someday your kids will start to function the way that you do, because you've been able to teach them by learning it yourself. So, yeah.
I couldn't have worded it better myself. That was great. That was such a perfect just synopsis of, because there's so much that goes into it, you know?
There is. Yeah, since you sent me the question, I was like, how do I answer that? Like, well, I like this, but we kind of talk about that earlier in the other questions, or I like this. And it's like, it's just, I just want more.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. So.
Yeah, that was perfect. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Oh, I don't know.
How do you feel like it personally affected Chad? How do you think he has grown?
Okay. I think right now he's actually kind of still in the struggle phase of it. It kicks your butt. Like, it makes you think about why you do what you do, and you have to get out of the rhythm of work and busy, and start to think about the real deal inside of you, and why do I function this way, and even just so many of the things that we were taught to believe were selfish. Like, we had this conversation this morning, like, I just feel selfish working on me. And I was like, but if you aren't working on you and you haven't fixed the issues in you, then the way that you treat people is selfish and is self-preservation, instead of being able to give of yourself and being able to be fully you. It's just neat to see. And I feel like we're still kind of on this roller coaster of up and down and up and down. Like, one day we have an awesome, really hard stack, brings tears to his eyes, and then you finish and you're just so excited. And then a day or two later, it's like you're kind of back down on that roller coaster, back down. Like, no, like, okay, let's get back up to dealing with another issue. Like, okay, now what's the next issue that we need to address and need to figure out, and what's keeping you subconsciously from being successful in all the areas of life. So it's just been neat to watch him go through that, and to and I don't know if it's just a guy thing or if it's just a human thing. It's so easy when you get hurt, you just push it down and you move past it and you try and forget it, and to recognize that you have to deal with it and you have to process it and you have to recognize, what did I believe about myself as a result of that? And is it true? And if it's not, how do I fix that? How do I figure out what really is true?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really been a lot of what he's going through.
Mm-hmm. At first, were you too hesitant to come in? Or was it something that you found it and you were like, we have to do this?
I think we listened to a few podcasts, and I saw the ad on Facebook, and it sounded great. It sounded like it just really made sense. We were maybe hesitant in the sense that we don't have a farm and we don't have the crop ground, or we don't have the feed yard that's not making money right now. We're basically in a service business for agriculture. We truck and we raise some hogs. So in that sense, it maybe made us a little hesitant, like how do we fit into this? But really, I think what really motivated us is we'd love to farm, and we don't know how to get to that next stage, and how to, I think, mentally prepare for that, and how to, just how to embark on that journey. Like, I think Chad's really good with financial thought and knowing what makes sense, and knowing his bottom line, and knowing his numbers, and knowing how to make money. But knowing how to, he's also really good at knowing how to build a relationship, but knowing how to go past the, like, hey, we can have a conversation, let's talk, to the, this is really what I would like out of life, and I need to actually communicate that to you. I can't expect you to read my mind. And then knowing how to communicate that to someone in order to work towards getting into a farming situation, or even just more business customers. You can't just be like, well, they know I'm here. Well, yeah, but until you go after that, they're just going to assume you're fine, they're fine, nothing's going to change. So, yeah.
Okay.